willkommen in Österreich. Yes, welcome back everybody to Motorsport Madness. Today we are in the wonderful Styrian Mountains in Austria. And here we have a circuit which is nowadays known as the Red Bull Ring, but a few years ago is none other than the Österreichring. Built in 1969 to replace the, quite frankly, boring Zeltweg airfield circuit, it first hosted the Formula 1 Grand Prix in 1970. Until 1987 when Formula 1 shunned this circuit amongst growing safety concerns surrounding the high-speed nature of this forgotten circuit. In the 1990s, it was redesigned and rebuilt by none other than Hermann Tilke in favour of a tighter stop-and-go circuit. This became known as the A1 Ring, and in the 1990s, Formula 1 returned to this wonderful circuit. However, in the early 2000s, Formula 1 seemed to think that they had outgrown the circuit and once again abandoned it, leaving no one racing at the A1 Ring. However, Red Bull came to purchase what remained of the circuit, which by that point had already become derelict circuit with abandoned pit lanes and what you expect from a disused racing circuit. In the mid-2000s, no one really knew what the future would hold for this wonderful circuit. However, in the mid-2000s, it was finally decided the circuit would return to racing, and in 2011 it finally reopened as the Red Bull Ring, and once again hosted the Austrian Grand Prix in 2014, and has hosted it ever since. Now, me personally, I much prefer the older circuit. Reason being, it's such a nice roller coaster ride. Each corner flows very nicely into the next, but also it was one of the fastest circuits on the calendar at the time. In 1986, it was recorded that Derek Warwick achieved 214 miles an hour going down the long Valvoline Garage straight going towards the Bosch curve. Now that's the speed that you sometimes see in Formula 1 nowadays, but in 1986, that's crazy. That is quite something. Nowadays, the Red Bull Ring is just a simple stop-and-go circuit that's just not really interesting. The only interesting section is, in my opinion, Section 3, where it still retains some of its original splendour. So I thought we'd bring ourselves back to 1979 in a race in these wonderful cars. Now you're probably wondering what car we're going to be driving. Well, none other than the Ferrari 312 T4. A car that's so iconic, with drivers such as Gilles Villeneuve and Jody Scheckter driving this to win both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship in 1979, and what a beautiful car it really is. So that's what we're going to be driving today, so join us on the grid as we revive one of Formula 1's lost circuits. So here we are on the grid on the wonderful Österreichring. Now, you're probably noticing a lot of familiarities between this and the modern version. Obviously the hill is still there, except just up there we turn to the right modern day, but on this occasion we're just going straight over it. And obviously the scenery looks pretty much the same, so you will notice as we go through these laps, we've got 8 laps, you'll notice that there's a lot of similarities, which I'll point out obviously, like I always do. As Ferrari is a fairly basic one. It's made by the Italian Modern team, but it's still a pretty nice thing to drive. Very similar in behaviour with the Lotus 79, which occupies the rest of the field here, except they're all in different liveries. But we do have another Ferrari right at the front. No we don't, sorry, scratch that, it's behind us with Jody Scheckter, who started in 9th. But you'll notice it's all looking very, very nice. We've got Clay Regazzoni behind us in the Williams over there. We've got Niki Lauda in the Brabham. We've also got a Renault directly in front of us. And we've also got another Renault on pole, which is René Arnoux. So what a wonderful day for racing. Such a nice day. Beautiful, but yeah. Let's get on with this. Right then, here we are. We're about to go. The 1979 Austrian Grand Prix is go. Decent start. Pretty much side by side with the Williams. What we were. We're up to the Hellerlicht chicane, which was put in response to an accident which occurred in the 1970 Austrian Grand Prix. Come on. So this car doesn't like going from second to third whatsoever. So maybe for the chicane I'm going to have to keep it in third. Yeah, you can keep it in third. I'm going to keep it half throttle and then open up about here. We must keep it under control, because we need to catch up to the rest of the field now. Beautiful Styrian mountain range, we're really catching up. Didn't expect that at all. Why are we so fast? Oh, come on. I do go wide at the Bosch curve. Now this will probably be the most familiar to you if you obviously know the Red Bull Ring well. It's pretty much still the same, except it's just a little bit tighter. Now I've gone down in second, I should have really done that. I'm making mistakes. I've got Brabham behind me and what looks to be a Ligier. Jochen Mass is out in the ATS as we have completed the first lap. Go, confirmation. Nicky Lauda in front. Now normally we'd divert off to the right here, turn 1, but now obviously we don't because of it's not like this anymore. Wish it was. Let's start a campaign to bring back this section. So I think it will bring back just a bit more racing rather than just bog standard stop and go, which I hate. But it's down this straight where Derek Warwick achieved 214 miles an hour in 1986. It's just crazy. I think I've achieved something similar in sim as well, down that section. Come on, slow down please. Mario Andretti is out in the Lotus. I feel like we're slowly catching up to the rest of the field. Just need to keep it sensible around here. Use all my training. There's a car right near me, I can hear him. Can't see him though, I have no visual. There he is. I think that's Jack Lafitte. It's very easy to get it wrong on that corner and just end up in the catch fencing. Done it many times. I'm actually surprised I haven't featured this track beforehand on this channel, but yeah, well, there's always a first. So we lost a second to Nicky Lauda. We've got Nelson Piquet behind me in the Brabham, and of course Jacques Lafitte. Really want to be careful here, it's quite easy to spin out and just unleash here. Keep those two cars away. But this circuit is such a nice flowy circuit. I've never had a bad experience racing here. It's always been pretty fun. I had my first dead heat finish on this circuit, which I featured in the trailer for the historic F1 series, which was quite a long time ago now. So go back and watch it and you'll see that crossing the line in the Renaults side by side. Now this is my favourite corner. I just love how it's banked and so smooth. It's wonderful. Gives you such a great impression of racing. That awesome sensation as we get a bit squirrely coming out of that corner there. That Ligier in the Brabham's back, so it's obviously the middle section sector where I'm slow, but I don't really want to push anymore. I feel like that's all I've got for that section. Now, we lost a little bit on Niki Lauda, but we're slightly quicker. It looks like Lauda and whoever is next to him is probably the Williams of Alan Jones. He's having a bit of a scrap, which will slow them down. Now, do you prefer the old Österreichring? Or do you prefer the newer Red Bull ring or A1 ring? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? It's a wonderful location, it really is. Now, the original Austrian Grand Prix, the first one was held at the Zeltweg airfield. And it was just horrible. The drivers hated it, the spectators hated it, everybody hated it. So this track was built in response to that. And the Zeltweg airfield is actually just down the road. In fact, if you go to Zeltweg airfield now, you can still see it's literally just, you look up and there's the Red Bull ring. Touch the grass on the way. It's okay, we're still going. It's quite easy to make mistakes around here, but like I said, each corner just flows so nicely into the next. Now we lost again a little bit on the guys in front, but we did get away from the guys behind us a little bit, which is good for me. I'm not too sure my position though, I wasn't looking at that. But a lot of people, a lot of residents complained about the noise because, you know, there's a lot of houses near this section. So that's one of the reasons why it closed, but also safety concerns as well around this time. We need to kind of push a little bit in the middle sector. I keep going to say sector. I know he's in the race somewhere. I don't know where he is, but oh, come on, work with me. They catch up so much, there's something I'm doing wrong. It's a spectacular circuit, I love it. Of course it will feature in the historic F1 series at some point in the future. Oh no, they're really close to me now. Yeah, I lost a second there. P6 though, so the last points position of the time. Hopefully we can keep it. Ooh, got a bit wide there. Come on baby, come on. There's Nelson Piquet behind me in the Brabham. Oh well, you know it's a Lotus, it's just painted to look like a Brabham. Also, I appreciate a lot of your comments lately. They've been really wholesome. So thank you so much. So if you're new, subscribe and all that. So I'm not really feeling too well today. I don't know. I woke up just not feeling that well. I don't think I slept particularly well last night. So excuse me if I don't seem as energetic as normal. also got the virtual 24 hours of Le Mans streaming at the same time. That's on in the background. You can't hear it, I've muted it. But yeah, watching that. Good luck to all those taking part. I mean, I couldn't take part, you know, I could have done. But knee injury and all that. Nearly had to take the escape road. Well, there isn't an escape road, but you know what I mean. Brabham is right on my tail now. But this is the penultimate lap. Hasn't been much racing action. Not many overtakes or anything, but I really had to play with the setup of this car and the other cars to make it more equal, because the Lotuses were a lot quicker than this one. They were about 3 seconds a lap quicker, so I had to add ballasts and restrictors to the Lotuses just to make it a little bit, you know, give me a bit of a chance. But isn't this one of the most beautiful circuits? See, people sometimes ask me, you know, oh, what's your favourite Formula 1 track? I'm like, well, Old Spa, Österreichring. They're like, no, modern. I'm like, shut up. It's a Formula 1 circuit. Like, come on. I know it doesn't technically exist anymore, but come on now. Have some class. And they go, oh, I really like Abu Dhabi. What? What's wrong with you? Yeah, visually, Abu Dhabi is stunning, but in terms of racing, it's awful. But this is a proper Formula 1 circuit. And we're on the final lap now. Let's try and keep 6th, the last points position of the time. Nowadays, it's the top 10, but back here, it was the top 6. And it stood like that for a long, long time. So go through the western part of the circuit for the final time. Obviously, it doesn't exist anymore, like I've said. Braking. Go down to 3rd. Keep it half throttle. Open up. And let's admire the wonderful Styrian mountain range for one last time. Look at that. Cool corner, I love it. Go down there so quick and it's so daunting. This thing is a beast. I'll leave a link in the description as usual to this car. It does cost money, it costs about £3 I think, 2 or something like that. I don't know. But it's not that expensive. Ooh. See, those curbs can really mess you up. As we get through all the nasty parts, and I think we're safe for 6th. So apologies, it hasn't been the most interesting, and all I've done is practice laps, it seems. But we've had pressure for most of the video. But cross the line, and there we go, race over. P6, nice. At least we survived. It's very easy to get things wrong here. And we've survived in the Ferrari 312 T4. And what a wonderful, beautifully stunning car this is. And there's the Brabham of Nelson PK. Let's go and say hello. This one's a wonderful car to drive as well. Look at that. That iconic Alfa Romeo Parmalat livery. Awesome. So guys, that was the original Österreichring on show. I hope you found it interesting and hopefully inspires you to try this track out yourself in these cars. So go and download them. Awesome. And maybe you might have a little bit of a more interesting race for you if you try it out. But nonetheless, I hope you've enjoyed another video here on Motorsport Madness. and I've got a lot of plans for upcoming content. In fact, this video is actually going to be at another circuit, but I decided to do this one instead. I won't reveal what the other circuit was, because you'll probably bite my head off in the comments, and I don't want that. But you'll see it anyway. And until the next video, which will be sometime next week, I will see you then. Take care. See you later.